Imagine moving into a quiet home, expecting peace and comfort. Instead, you find furniture shifting on its own, unexplained voices, and a sense that something strange is happening. This is the story of the Enfield Poltergeist, a puzzling and widely debated paranormal case. It all began in the summer of 1977 in Enfield, North London. Peggy Hodgson, a single mother raising 4 children, started noticing strange occurrences in her modest council house. It began with knocking sounds, soft at first, but soon escalating to a loud, persistent banging that echoed through the walls. One night, Peggy saw something she couldn't explain. A heavy chest of drawers moved across the room entirely on its own. She tried to push it back, but it wouldn't budge, as if an unseen force was holding it in place. Terrified, she called for help, and soon neighbors, journalists, and even police officers would witness events that defied logic.
And the woman next door, she called me in. We couldn't make out what it was. I heard the knocking as I walked in the front door, but I went all over the house, checked it, checked the walls, checked everything. Just couldn't make out what it was. So in the end, I thought to myself, well, there's only one thing. I'll call the police.
The story caught the attention of paranormal investigators Maurice Gross and Guy Leon Playfair from the Society for Psychical Research. For months, they documented the phenomena: knocking sounds, objects flying across rooms, and even the alleged levitation of 11-year-old Janet Hodgson. But what truly baffled investigators was Janet's voice. Without moving her lips, she seemed to channel the spirit of an old man named Bill Wilkins. Bill claimed he had died in the house years ago, and he was there to stay.
And do you get the feeling when you hear the voice that there is a person there?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder, do you think there's anyone there just now?
Yeah. I do.
Who's that?
What?
Who's that, Janet?
Pardon? Stuart Certain.
Stuart Certain, and he's one of the voices.
Yeah.
Is anybody there?
No.
Who's there?
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who?
Goose Chasers here.
Photos showed Janet levitating, as if pulled by an invisible force. Yet skeptics were quick to point out flaws. Was she being thrown, or simply jumping from her bed? And could her eerie voice have been a trick, rather than a message from the beyond? Critics argued that Janet and her sister Margaret were playing an elaborate prank, seeking attention. In fact, Janet later admitted to faking some minor incidents, but insisted the majority of the events were real. Even the investigators were divided. Some believed wholeheartedly, while others left unconvinced.
Certainly not. They're certainly not very good ventriloquists. We have had tests on them to see whether they can ventriloquize. They can't. To keep up this particular type of voice for any length of time without damage to the vocal cords is absolutely impossible. I mean, there must be some hoarseness attached to it. But don't forget, these children don't do this for a couple of minutes or so. They do it for lengths of periods up to 3 hours, and without any hoarseness or sore throats whatsoever.
So, what really happened in Enfield? Was this a genuine case of paranormal activity, or an elaborate hoax orchestrated by 2 clever children? Decades later, the story of the Enfield Poltergeist remains a mystery, captivating believers and skeptics alike. And so, the Enfield Poltergeist lives on, inspiring The Conjuring 2, Guy Leon Playfair's book, and countless documentaries, whether fact or fiction. Its story remains a lasting mystery.